Hello everybody, we are going to be talking about the Bruce Boudreau firing, but before we start I wanted to say please subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with more hockey news from me as I try to do this as a career. Now let's get into it. Here's what we know. Bruce Boudreau has been fired from the Vancouver Canucks after a terrible stint in his second partial season with the team. I say terrible, it could be worse, but he ended up going 50, 40, and 18 in 103 games coached with the franchise. How did we get here? Well, we got here because Vancouver was a dumpster fire before this past season. With last season, the team starting off 8-15-2. Travis Green was let go, among others, within that top brass of the organization. And Bruce was brought in because of his pedigree, his resume, and of course, all the knowledge he brings, and things went really well. The team actually almost made a playoff spot, believe it or not, and just missed out. But of course, this stint has not gone as well in the second partial season, as the team through 46 games has gone 18-25-3, with the team sitting fairly far out of a playoff spot. Colorado, Calgary, those teams are kind of in that wild card spot right now in that hunt. We're pretty far back from them, and the reality is they probably weren't going to catch up with them. So what exactly went wrong? Well, the PK has been awful this season. Literally the worst PK percentage in the league, 66.4%, and it just was terrible. And they played the third fewest time on ice per game played for any team. Basically, they weren't playing a lot of time on the penalty kill this season. Yet they had high danger chances against and had the most high danger goals against per 60 in the league. And it's just, the goalies, they struggled as well. They had the fourth worst high danger save percentage and the worst save percentage overall on the penalty kill with a 766 save percentage. This has kind of just been a combination of atrocious goaltending and defense, but in reality, I am blaming the defense, especially when you have guys that are not necessarily good at defense. I'm not going to say names necessarily in this video, but they end up getting some time out there on the PK for whatever reason. I don't know. And 5-on-5. That was pretty awful too for this team. They had the third highest expected goals against per 60, not good, at 2.87, and the fourth highest goals against average per 60 at 3.13. Also not good. They've been outshot more than most teams with a shots for percentage of 47.54%, and again struggle with high danger chances against, with the fourth most high danger chances against per 60 and the most high danger shots against per 60. A lot of shots down low too, right in the low slot. And again, not going to say any names, but boy, it was pretty common, I think, to see a lot of breakaways against this blue line, to see players just eke by, speed by, just blow by, to sneak by, whatever the case may be. If it was a low slot shot, I'm willing to bet a good chance that it at least was that they just blew right past the blue line and allowed a breakaway on man-to-goal situation. It was frustrating. The goaltending, that was terrible as well so far this season. I'm going to defend the goalies a bit here, but Thatcher and Demko and Spencer Martin have been not exactly brick walls. In fact, Martin has the worst goal saved above average at negative 20.89 in the league, which basically means a replacement level goalie or an average goalie would allow 21 less goals, and Demko ranks 10th worst at negative 10.52. Then they just have one shutout between the two, which is problematic because you saw Martin have a pretty good year last year. Started out really hot, I think, for Vancouver. And then you had Demko kind of viewed as the replacement for Jacob Markstrom when he left for Calgary. Things are not looking so great there. And then there's the drama, which I could probably write a book about this. The Bo Horvat extension tension, as I like to call it. Bo is a guy the past few years that you look at and think, we don't have to have him. Maybe if he wanted more money, he could go elsewhere. Then he decided to pick a great time to have a career year when his contract is up. There's been a lot of tension going on surrounding that. The team is kind of viewing this year as an anomaly. Bo is looking at this saying, I do deserve to have this looked at as well. I deserve this amount of money. The team's not willing to budge. He's not willing to budge. Let's be honest. He's going to be traded before the deadline or at the deadline. I don't know. Then you have the JT Miller stuff that's going on here during Boudreau's time. Miller is a guy that I really liked since he's coming over from Vancouver, but now you have multiple sources that I trust and read saying that he is just a bad locker room guy. That's not going to fly in a professional setting where you have to work out with these guys, you got to play with these guys, you got to fly with these guys, you usually eat with these guys, you might room with these guys at a hotel. You have to be able to be a team player to some extent, and if Miller really is that type of guy that he is making it a toxic locker room, time to go. And we of course gave him that big extension, so you know we're gonna have to eat some of that. There's the Brock Besser incident where Boudreau ended up not playing, or was gonna make Besser a healthy scratch for the cancer awareness game. Brock's dad had cancer that unfortunately he eventually passed away, but Brock ended up not being a healthy scratch, ended up playing that game, scoring a goal that sent it into overtime, and we won it. But if Brock didn't play, we wouldn't have been able to win that game. And then the Tanner Pearson incident, where we don't know if Tanner is ever going to play again because of an infection in his hand that was dealt with the medical staff by Vancouver. Toxic. This organization is toxic. This organization is problematic. This organization is just not the way you want to run things. On top of that, you're dealing with the effects of Benning, and you're wondering how much Boudreau could be handicapped by that. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's deal, that's a significant deal. Tyler Myers, are you getting the value out of him with what he's getting paid? Nothing against these guys, and I know I wasn't going to say names earlier, but I'm not really trashing on them. I'm just saying what they get paid versus what they provide might just be a big issue as to why this team's struggling, especially with how limited the cap is in the NHL. Obviously it's a lot of money, but when you have so many guys and you got to break it up, these type of deals that if they backfire hard for years. Is Bruce to blame for all of this? Absolutely not. Like I've said, this organization is terrible, and as much as I love the organization, it's a tough place. It is a Canadian market, one of the biggest profiters for the league in the the marketing landscape and what they're able to sell and to just all this stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to say this is all on Bruce. Absolutely not, because it feels like the organization in general, from the top down, continues to get worse, and it's because of the top down. And yeah, I mean, it's just problematic. And you look at Boston, well, they have some things that they have certainly done that are not good. Teams like them, Tampa Bay, Colorado, those two, those teams that are in the hunt for a cup right now, they're how you look at and say, this is how we got to run an organization. You look at Vancouver and you say, this is how we should never run an organization. Yeah, there's other franchises that aren't great, but you look at Vancouver especially, and it seems like there's just drama coming out of the headlines all the time about this team. What now exactly for the team and Bruce? For the Canucks, they'll be looking for different results with a new head coach. Since I'm pre-recording this, I'm not exactly sure who they're going with. Tocchet was rumored. I feel like personally that would be a step down from Bruce. Maybe he would be able to fix some of the defensive issues, which would help on the PK, 5-on-5, goaltending. But in general, if you don't think for sure that getting Tocchet would be an improvement over Boudreau, why fire him? I've never understood that logic in the sports world. Fire this guy, bring in a guy that isn't viewed as on his level. Doesn't make sense to me, but I would have really liked to see Bruce finish out the season. But for Bruce, he'll be without a job for now, but he'll probably land on his feet sometime soon. Again, he's a guy that has coached multiple teams, had success with multiple teams, and really until this year, things looked good in the first season with Vancouver. So I don't think people are going to say, oh, he suddenly doesn't know how to coach. I think this team is just handicapped by cap issues, and the bad contracts don't factor in with all the drama and things like that. It's bad. It is bad. As for the Canucks, will they tear it down? I'd like to say yes. At this point, Brock's just dealt with so much drama from the toxic media there and some of the toxic aspects of the fans. Not all fans certainly, but that small minority that just really makes it toxic to play there. So Brock, Bo, really anybody, as long as they get a good enough offer, I'd like to see them tear it down, because with the way we're going, A, we're not going to make the playoffs this year, and then B, we're not going to be contenders in the years to come. But we will see. What are your thoughts on all this? Do you think it was the right decision to fire Bruce? Do you think the team will get better without him? Will the drama go away? Will he have success somewhere else? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. Eagle of Valky, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.